Welcome. My name is Jerome Rachele, and today I'm going to be giving you a brief overview of SPSS. So I'm going to access SPSS using the VMware Horizon client. So I'm going to click on Workspace. That's going to take me to a list of potential applications. I'm going to click on SPSS. It's going to load. Okay, so this is the Welcome to IBM SPSS window. I'm going to shut that one. And this is the main window that you work from. So this first tab here is the Data View tab, and the second one here is the Variable View tab. So I'm going to open some data. So the first thing to note with accessing SPSS virtually is to know that this desktop and documents and downloads, etc., this is the virtual desktop. To access your own computer, you need to use the Z drive. And from there, you can navigate your own files. So I've got a file saved in documents, and I'm going to access the Krusty Burger dataset, which is not related to The Simpsons for copyright purposes. And the data set contains it tells a story about a bunch of residents from a town called Springfield that went to Krusty Burger, and some got sick and some didn't get sick. So my first variable here is the name of the resident, and that's a string variable. We'll get to that soon. Then I've got the ID. I've got the age of each participant. I've got their weight status. So normal weight, overweight, and obese, coded as 0, 1, 2. And then I've got whether they were sick or not sick, coded as 0 and 1. So in the Variable View tab, I can see all 5 of my variables here. So the first one is the name of the variable, and there are certain rules around how you can name variables. So you can't start with a number, you can't use certain characters, and you can't use a space. So this is a pretty brief variable view, a pretty brief way to name variables. Then I've got the variable type. So it can be string, which is words, or numeric, which is numbers. I've got the label, which is my much more detailed description of each of the variables. And then I've got values. So this is really important for categorical variables. So for weight, 0 equals normal weight, 1 equals overweight, 2 equals obese. And then for sick, I've got 0 equals not sick, and 1 equals sick. The next column is super important. So often you'll get a data set, and the missing values, rather than being missing, they'll be coded as missing. And so for weight, I'm telling SPSS that if you see a -1 for an observation, that means that that observation is a missing observation. It's not the actual value. So if I jump over to my data view, I can see that Principal Skinny here, he didn't want to give us his weight. So we've coded him as missing, -1. So no weight for Principal Skinner. And the last column of importance is the measure column. So you've got 3 options. You've got scale, which is for continuous or interval variables. You've got ordinal, so that's for variables that are ordered, like weight classification. So you've got 0, 1, 2. There's an order to those categories. And then you've got categorical nominal, and that's for variables where it doesn't matter, whether people are sick or not sick. It doesn't matter which one you code as which. You've just got 2 potential categories. So that's the data view. The next window of importance is the output window, and you might have noticed that it already opened an output window for me when I opened the data set. So this is the window for when you run analyses, all of your output comes into this window. So I'm going to run some very basic analyses. I'm just going to go to descriptive statistics and go to crosstabs, and I just want to know for people of different weight classifications, how many got sick and how many didn't. So I'm not going to click on any of the special options. I'm just going to click OK, and it just pops out in the output window. So the first table here, I've got weight classification by 6, so this is my crosstab. 19 participants out of the 20, so 95% had valid numbers. Our one missing was for Principal Skinner, who didn't want to tell us his weight. And this is the output table over here. So all of your analyses will come into this output window, and you can actually click File and save this output if you want to save it. Or you can copy these this output, so copy or copy as a picture, etc. So that's the output window. The third window that's super useful for us is the syntax window. So if I click File and New and Syntax, rather than clicking on all the drop-down menus like we did to get our crosstabs, you can actually write the code to tell SPSS what to do, give it commands. So this is really useful if you've done some complex analyses and you want to keep a really good record of what you've done, what options you've clicked. Maybe you want to rerun it, but slightly differently. You can save all the code here and rerun the code. So one sort of cheat way to get the code is to go to the output window, and you'll notice that all the code that you did to for your analysis is here. So I can copy this and I can paste it in the syntax window, and you can see there's all lovely colors. So this is the this is the code to do my crosstabs, and this is the code to open my file. So I'm going to actually close that one or delete that one. And so this is my code for the crosstabs. So if I want to replicate the crosstabs that I just ran, I just highlight this and I click play, and it will rerun the identical analyses that I did before. So the syntax window is very important for people that are doing lots of analyses, and also it's a pretty good basic introduction to coding for analyses as well. So there are your three windows. You've got your data view, your data window, which has the actual data and then the variables under two tabs. You've got the output window that has all the output for your analyses, which you can save and copy into your assignments or into your appendices. Then you've also got the syntax, and that's for your code for your analyses. Okay, thanks very much for listening.